Have you ever wondered if she's thinking about you right now, even when she's not replying? What if her silence isn't about losing interest, but something much deeper? You're not the one on her mind anymore, but that doesn't mean she's forgotten you. In fact, it could be the opposite. Could this silence be a test? It's time to decode the silence and discover the truth behind her coldness. Stay tuned, and you'll never look at her behavior the same way again. She's thinking about you right now. It's subtle. Her eyes may be fixed on her phone screen, her fingers idly scrolling, but deep down her thoughts are with you. She's replaying your conversations, wondering why things didn't work out the way she hoped. She's the one who stopped talking, who left your messages unread, who didn't reply. But here's the thing. She checks her phone more often than, she admits, watching you from a distance. She watches your stories, your life unfolding silently in front of her. And though she misses you, she won't say a word. It has nothing to do with you being undeserving. It's about something far more complex. It's about how society has shaped her actions and emotions. Pride is her shield, and your silence, that's her test. This video is going to shatter that shield wide open. If you're a man who's tired of chasing women who only respond when you're no longer around, if you're fed up with confusing mixed signals, cold shoulders, and the emotional roller coaster, then this video is for you. Stick around till the end, and you'll never look at her silence the same way again. You've been lied to about love, about women, about what real strength in a man looks like. Most men are taught to be emotionally available, expressive, and vulnerable until they become disposable. You've been told that your effort, pursuing her, showing her how much you care, is proof of love. But here's the truth. Effort without respect is weakness. Chasing a woman who's pulling away isn't love. It's insecurity. You are not here to become more palatable to her emotions. You are here to reclaim your position as a man with composure, with purpose, and with self-respect so deep that no amount of silent treatment can shake you. Let's break it down. Why does she act cold, distant, or indifferent? What does it mean when she pulls away? And more importantly, how should you, as a grounded and masculine man, respond? In this video, I'll share insights that will become weapons for your mind. If you apply them, you'll never be emotionally manipulated again. Now let's dive into why she pulls away. When her messages slow down, her tone becomes colder, or she seems emotionally unavailable, your first instinct might be to think that she's lost interest, that she's talking to someone else, or that you did something wrong. But the truth is far more complicated and far more powerful. It's not that she doesn't care. Often it's the opposite. She cares more than she can handle, and that frightens her. To care means to risk, and to risk as a woman means giving emotional power. To a man, a power society warns her not to give. That fear manifests as silence, and in that silence, confusion begins to creep in. She goes quiet, not because she's forgotten you, but because she's constantly thinking about you. She replays your last conversation, analyzing every word, every tone, wondering if she said too much or not enough. Yet she won't reach out. Not because she's moved on, but because her pride, the very thing she believes will protect her heart, is louder than her longing for you. As this silence hangs between you, she feels a shift, an uncertainty. But as much as she is wrestling with this, it's important for you to understand what's happening. You have to be the man who doesn't need to seek closure, validation, or even her response. Silence is not a sign of weakness, but a strategy for emotional strength and self-mastery. Let her fill in the gaps, let her wonder, let her question. You're becoming someone she never expected. This moment of stillness is where you, as a man of purpose, truly rise. Now that we've uncovered the truth behind the silence, let's talk about how you can begin reclaiming your power and transforming yourself into the man who doesn't just wait around for validation, but takes full control of his own life. Building on the idea that sometimes silence is the most powerful message, let's dive deeper into how your actions, or lack of them, can shift the entire dynamic. You see, she might be sitting there scrolling through her phone, wondering if she should reach out. The thought of texting you crosses her mind, maybe even multiple times. She hovers over your name, fingers poised above the keyboard, but every time she tries, she hesitates. She types hey and backspaces. Then I miss you follows, but she deletes it too. Eventually, she throws her phone to the side, frustrated. Not with you, but with herself. You may not know it, but she's engaged in a quiet battle within herself. She wants to be the one to reach out, to break the silence, but there's one thing holding her back: pride. The idea that if she reaches out first, she'll lose control, that she'll give away the power. In her mind, no matter how much she misses you, this is a move she simply can't afford to make. So, she convinces herself to play the game, because, as strange as it may seem, this game is more about ego than emotion. And in the meantime, you're thinking she's ignoring you, thinking she's moved on, and you're left to wonder what happened. The reality, though, is that she's testing herself, trying to see if she can be the one to remain unbothered. Instead of sending that message, she posts a picture of herself, looking effortlessly independent, glowing, living her life without you. The mask of indifference is her shield, but beneath it all, she's hoping you're paying attention. She wants you to feel the void her absence creates, just as she feels the weight of yours. Now let's get real about what's going on. This isn't weakness. This is years of societal conditioning. She's been taught that chasing after a man is a sign of desperation, that showing too much will make her vulnerable to being taken for granted. Deep down, she fears that if she reaches out, it might destroy the image of strength she's carefully crafted. And so she resists, even though everything in her heart is telling her to do otherwise. But here's the thing most men miss. The more effort she puts into looking unbothered, the more she's actually bothered. The more she tries to mask her feelings, the more it eats at her. Yet you're still left trying to decode her every action. Was that post about you? Is she angry? Has she really moved on? But the truth is, your job isn't to decode her. It's to remain still, to observe. Don't react, don't chase, don't try to fix it. Your stillness will do more to shift the power dynamic than any text or desperate action could ever do. She doesn't miss you when you chase her. She misses you when you vanish. It's when you stop pursuing her, when you stop trying to get her attention, that she starts to think about you. She wonders if you've moved on, if you're living your life without her. When she sees you thriving without needing her to complete you, that's when the tension in her mind begins to build. Your absence speaks louder than your presence. Understand this: silence can be more powerful than words. When you go quiet and keep moving forward with your life, it forces her to confront the reality that she might have let go of something that truly mattered. But more importantly, it's not just about what she feels. It's about how you control your own emotions. Your power comes from your ability to stand firm, to remain calm, and to keep growing. When you stop needing validation from her, you're no longer playing her game. You've taken control. And that's when everything begins to shift. As you continue on this journey, remember, silence is not weakness, it's strength, it's emotional sovereignty. When you master this, the shift in power will be undeniable. So what's next for you? Where do you go from here? How do you keep moving forward in this process of transformation? Let's dive into the next part and see how this newfound sense of self can change everything. After everything, the silence, the distance, and the emotional struggle, there's a truth you must recognize. She might tell herself she's moved on, but every time she scrolls through your profile, sees your name in her inbox, or hesitates, picking up her phone only to put it back down, that's when the truth surfaces. It's not that you mean less to her. In fact, it's the opposite. The more profound your impact, the more she pulls away. Not because she cares less, but because she cares more. You've become a man whose mere presence challenges her. Your silence forces her to question herself. So when she pulls away, don't chase after her. Don't panic. Don't try to decode every message or every action. Stand firm in your strength. The coldest response often comes from the person who is fighting the hardest not to care. A woman who is distancing herself, who seems aloof, is often the one fighting a battle within her emotions. And here's the key: in those silent moments, your respect for yourself matters more than any frantic move you could make. Your masculinity doesn't speak in desperation or need. It speaks in self-control. Every time you choose to respect yourself in these moments of uncertainty, you earn her respect in the long run. The conflict, however, isn't just between you and her. It's a war inside her, one not driven by logic but by the tug-of-war between emotion and ego. This inner struggle is the battlefield you don't get an invitation to, but you're the catalyst for it. When you see her retreating emotionally, when she pulls away, sends cold texts, or goes silent, it's easy to feel like she's moving on, like she's distancing herself from you. You might feel unwanted, discarded, even forgotten, but the truth is, inside her there's chaos. Her emotions, raw, honest, aching, want to reach out, to reconnect, to tell you, "I miss you. I can't stand this silence. I wish we could talk." But then her ego, her pride takes over. Her ego isn't just an invisible force, it is a commanding presence. It tells her that if she reaches out first, she's admitting defeat. It convinces her that if she shows vulnerability, she'll be seen as weak. Her ego convinces her that caring too much is dangerous because it gives you power over her. She's not thinking about how much she values you. She's thinking about how much control she would lose if she were to show it. Her inner battle is a silent war. She locks away her feelings even as they scream for release, all because her ego is terrified of losing control. This is why she tests your silence with her own. Each moment you don't reach out, each time you don't fold or break, she's watching. She's calculating your every move. The longer you remain calm and unbothered, the more she questions herself, yet she won't show it. She won't post about missing you. She won't admit the panic that sets in when she realizes she's losing control. Instead, she'll double down on her pride, projecting confidence, detachment, or even flirting with others, just to see if it makes you chase after her. But don't be fooled. Every time she does this, she's testing the limits of her own ego, and the more you resist, the more power you hold in the situation. As this dynamic continues, her internal battle intensifies. She's struggling to reconcile her feelings with the fear of losing control. And the longer you remain calm and composed, the more she'll wonder if you're genuinely indifferent or simply stronger than she's ever imagined. This is where your silence becomes more than just absence. It becomes an undeniable force. What's next? How do you maintain this strength and continue to build on this transformation? The next steps in your journey will define who you become, both to her and to yourself. Let's explore what comes after this shift in power. You might think she's moving on, but here's the truth. It's not that she's over you. It's that she's terrified. Terrified that you've gained the power she never expected you to have. Terrified that your silence is real, not a bluff, that you've stopped waiting, that you've started to move on. And the most important thing every man must understand is this. When you chase her during this emotional battle, you don't win her heart. Instead, you fuel her ego. You feed her sense of control. And the more you chase, the more she pulls away. It's not because she's heartless, but because your pursuit makes her feel emotionally superior. You unintentionally confirm her strategy. You give her power. But if you stop chasing, if you remain still, grounded and composed, you disrupt the balance. Your silence doesn't manipulate. It shifts the power dynamics. Now her emotional wall starts to crack, not because you forced it, but because you didn't fall into her trap. Your emotional discipline becomes a mirror, reflecting her confusion. She begins to question herself. Why isn't he chasing? Did he move on? Did I miscalculate? And as her ego's grip loosens, your silence becomes the loudest answer. She starts to feel that she might be the one losing control. When her ego no longer receives the attention it craves, when she doesn't get the validation of your pursuit, it starts to starve. And in that void, her emotions grow stronger. It's no longer just pride talking. It whispers louder. What if I made a mistake? What if he's the one slipping away? What if I pushed too hard? Now the tables have turned. The war is no longer one where you're fighting for her attention. Now she's fighting for answers. She starts needing closure. She wants to know if you still care. She wants to feel that she didn't ruin everything. And then out of nowhere, you'll get a message. Hey, how have you been? Did you see that thing I posted? These aren't random. They're white flags from a war her ego can no longer win. But here's the key. This only happens if you maintain your composure. If you react emotionally, if you send long, desperate messages asking why she's acting differently, you lose. Let her battle that internal chaos on her own. Don't become a casualty in her emotional war. What you need to do is become the observer, not passive, not indifferent, but unwavering. This is the heart of Stoicism in relationships. It's not pretending you don't care. It's caring so deeply about your own self-worth that you never allow someone else's emotional instability to dictate your behavior. And this is crucial. Women respect men who can't be emotionally controlled. You might think that your silence will make her forget you, but the reality is your silence makes her feel you. Silence speaks louder than words. When she's used to attention, used to being chased, used to men breaking before she does, your calmness disrupts everything she thought would happen. It forces her to sit with the consequences of her own silence. For once, she becomes the one who needs to act, not because you manipulated her, but because you respected yourself more than you craved her attention. The battlefield is real. Most men fall into the trap unaware of the game they're playing. They become pawns in a game they never even knew existed. But not you, not anymore. Now you know the truth. Behind every "I don't care" is a woman who desperately does. Society has conditioned her to wait, just as it's conditioned you to chase and lose. This lie was planted long before she caught feelings, long before you ever sent that first good morning text. She was taught that if a man wants her, he will chase her. But you know better now. The dynamic has shifted and now you have the upper hand. Stay grounded, stay strong, and stay silent. You've learned the power of emotional discipline. The question is, what will you do with it next? In relationships, the subtle game of power and respect often plays out in silence. A woman might convince herself that by staying silent she's in control. This is the message she's received from movies, pop culture, and even the advice passed down from friends and family. She believes that if she withholds her emotions, withholds her attention, the right man will fight for her, prove his worth, and win her back. But here's the truth she may never have been taught. When a man chases after a woman who consistently withdraws, he loses respect. He becomes desperate, and desperation is never attractive. It's not because she's heartless or doesn't want love. It's because deep down in her psychology, she equates relentless effort with weakness. Weakness to her triggers something deep within, a kind of instinctual disgust. Not because she's cruel, but because she senses instability. She sees that you need her more than you need your own self-respect. You were taught to prove yourself, to make her feel special, to do everything right. You've bought flowers when she's distant, you've texted more when she texts less, and you've explained yourself, hoping that it would win her back. But in her eyes, all of that effort made you replaceable. You might feel that sting, but it's important for you to understand why it happened. The world gave you a love blueprint that only works when both sides are mature. But in the world of modern dating, where attention is currency and validation is traded like poker chips, your old school effort is a losing hand. She doesn't want more effort from you. What she wants is for your absence to matter. She wants to experience the weight of losing you, to question her own position. She wants to feel your value not through your constant presence, but through your discipline, through your ability to withhold it when it's not earned. When you chase a woman who is intentionally being distant, you send a message without realizing it. My self-worth is negotiable. Once that thought enters her mind, it's nearly impossible to erase. She will know that if she pulls away, you'll come closer. If she withholds affection, you'll try harder. If she ignores you, you'll bend over backward to fix it. This dynamic strips you of your power, not just in the relationship, but also in your identity as a man. You are not here to audition for love. You are not here to convince anyone of your worth through constant effort. A man who knows his value will never chase validation. Real men don't run after what disrespects them. They walk away calmly, without looking back. The deeper truth here is this: the woman who truly deserves your love will never make you chase her through indifference. She will show effort. She will reach out. She will respond to your energy with her own. But if she doesn't, understand this: Every message you send after her silence is not an expression of love. It's a surrender of yourself. So when she goes quiet and you feel the urge to check in or say, "Hey, how are you?" Understand what's happening. You're being tested. She's trying to see how deep your self-respect truly runs. And the moment you break your silence just to get a reaction, you fail. Not because she hates you, but because now in her eyes, you are someone she can emotionally control. Women never fall in love with men they can control. But when you stand firm, when you hold your frame, when you remain composed while she waits for your reaction, you flip the entire dynamic. You break the cycle. The power you have in these moments is unmatched. And when you do this, you shift the relationship forever. Now, armed with this understanding, you can begin to rebuild your identity and your emotional power. But the true test lies ahead. Will you stand firm in your values? Will you rise above the noise and prove to yourself that you're the man you were always meant to be? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. By mastering yourself, you take control of the game. The moment you stop chasing and start living on your own terms, something powerful shifts. You've become the rare breed of man who doesn't seek validation, who doesn't dance for attention, and who doesn't react to every emotional withdrawal. You're the kind of man who values peace more than chaos, who holds his ground no matter the circumstances. And when she realizes you're not playing the role she expected you to, that's when everything changes. Curiosity turns into intrigue. She starts to wonder, why isn't he reacting? What's going on? Why isn't he chasing me? That's when silence isn't just silence anymore. It starts to turn into guilt. The guilt of realizing she's no longer the one in control. The guilt of knowing she's lost something that was never meant to be taken for granted. And when that happens, that's often when she comes back. If this video struck a chord with you even for a moment, if it sparked a shift in your perspective, then don't keep this to yourself. Support this channel, not just for me, but for every man who needs to hear this message. Think of your brothers, your younger self, and every man on the edge, struggling to get noticed by someone who has stopped seeing him. Share this message. Comment Stoic below if you're ready to join the brotherhood of men who don't chase. They lead, they grow, they rise. This isn't just about learning. This is about spreading the truth. Together, we make sure that the wisdom reaches those who need it most. If you want clarity in your relationships, in your life, and in your mind, start here. Subscribe to this channel because every week I share tools, strategies, and wisdom to help you become untouchable in love, life, and mind. Let this be the beginning of your transformation. Embrace it fully.